Hey everyone, welcome to the final Actors and Actresses count of 2025. It's New Year's Eve, and now, here it is. I'm going to do two Canadian actors, one of which is David Paul Grove, and the other is Brett McKillop, or Killip. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. David Paul Grove, as we know, voiced Johnny 2x4 in Ed, Edd n Eddy, but before I get into that voice acting part of his life, let's say I know him as Pom Pom from Elf, who is the elf that Buddy falls and squashes after he realizes he's not really an elf, even though he should have realized that a long time ago. As we know, Johnny 2x4 had like some sort of like arc or something like an arc. Like he's this real kid that all the kids in the neighborhood like to hang out with, even though he talks to a piece of wood all the time, like as a subconscious. And by the end of his journey in NNA, in the finale movie, he kind of got really much kicked to the curb. Like he pretty much became the outcast that the Eds have become for the whole series. And, like without reasoning or reckoning or even explaining to Johnny that they're fine, that they've made up and, blah, 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 blah. They decided to just beat the living crap out of him. And he turns evil, and we have no way of knowing how well his plans are going to go as the Gord and Plank as Dark Shard, since Plank did break the fourth wall, even though we can't hear him, saying it's the end of the movie. So yeah, Johnny becomes the newest outcast, a lone outcast, other than just three guys. And now on to, Brett McKillop. Before I even go into her voice acting, I would say I know her from at least one movie she was, and like when she was kind of a teenager. It's Trick or Treat, in which she plays the head bully in a prank against who she called an idiot savant, the nerdy idiot savant, and they go to this quarry to put jack-o'-lanterns all along the shore of a lake where kids have died in a bus crash years earlier. And she was one of the kids who got eaten by zombie kids, the resurrected zombie kids, as part of the sort of lesson, like don't extinguish your jack-o'-lantern out too early, or something like that. There is a lesson there. And even though we don't see her death, it would have probably been sweet to actually see her, her character die in that. We hear her screams, we hear all the other kids, get eaten or, should I say, disemboweled or anything like that. And now on to her voice acting career, which, yeah, pretty much anyone in Canada can become a voice actor since there's like so very few. Like I can only name a few that has been up there, like Maurice Lamachi, Jennifer Hill, and let's say Tara Strong. Even though she doesn't live up there, she was kind of raised up there, born up there. And of course, when we talk about Brett or even Andrew Francis, when you think about MLP, even though I'm not really, like I'm saying this, I'm not a fan of that, but like most people seem to associate her with Princess Cadence, but for me, I associate her with Hannah from The Scary Godmother, in which she met some of her future, like, I don't know if it's or before that, she met her future co-stars on the Scary Godmother movies. And of course, all Gen Z, generations have grown up watching this with their families on Halloween night or around Halloween on Cartoon Network. For me, watching it now, this is the same studio that's done Reboot, which is years earlier, and she was not really born at that time. I gotta say, she was great as Hannah in that role. Like this is the first time I ever heard her on like a project. That's like the first time I ever heard of her, but not really cared to know her name or anything because I was young. Didn't care about most things. But now I care about art and what actors should get casted in that part or whatnot. Because you gotta be careful in the industry nowadays because I keep saying to people, you gotta beware of the Weinstein effect. Anyway, this is the last Actors and Actresses count. I'm sorry I passed the weekend, but here's the last one for that time. For this time, and I hope to come back to you guys as soon as I could. Hope you guys have a good New Year, and I'm sorry I bugged you guys, even on my previous channel, bothering you about my dreams and my ambitions and stuff like that. But I promise this is the last time, and I don't know how, like a nobody or a loser like me can ever fit out there in the world. Like, I have to come out and say that it is like tough. It's not pleasant at all. It's just boring out here. Anyway, have a new year. Let's hope for the best. 24, my lucky number. My age, that is.